Let's unpack the market movements now with Grant Nader from Benguela Global Fund Managers. Grant, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Firstly, how did the local market perform today? I saw especially the precious metals index was quite down.
Yes, another tough day for our market. It really has been a tough month, actually, not only in SA but globally. And we continue to struggle with the process of digesting these higher rates for longer. And one of the things that are at the brunt of that is precious metals, gold and platinum coming under pressure as real yields rise. This is typically the kind of thing that puts pressure on these markets. So very tough, and the market was led down by those precious metals. And some of the energy stocks as well in Benguela and Exara, and a number of stocks. So down 0.7 on the day roughly, and the negativity persists for the moment.
Now, the insurance and investment group Old Mutual released its results for the 6 months ended 30 June 2023. How did they do?
It was a fairly solid update. I wouldn't say it was spectacular. Their operating profit from the sort of core operations up 2.6%, so slightly flat, but they have seen the value of new business grow nicely. New sales are growing nicely. Funds under management grew just under 10% to 1.3 trillion, so those are positive. On the downside, we have seen struggles around the persistency, in the lower LSM segment in which their funeral and mass market products are sold. They're seeing a lot of weakness in persistency as people drop off in their policies, and they're also seeing some weakness on the investment side where people are actually liquidating investments a lot sooner than one would like to fund their daily needs. And it's really a sign of the consumer that is under pressure across most sectors of the economy. So overall, it was a solid update, but not a great update. The dividend is decent. They're paying just over 6% on an annualized basis. The stock's not expensive at 7 times earnings. So I think in the context of that, it was fairly solid. It was okay.
Now, the packaging manufacturer Nampak has raised 1 billion rand from its shareholders after its rights offer was oversubscribed. Now, so despite this big debt burden that they have, because that's why they needed the 1 billion rand, Nampak's shares are still worth investing in.
Yeah, sometimes shareholders get caught in the trap whereby if they don't follow the rights, they will lose even more money. So although the rights subscription was encouraging, Coronation themselves took up 10% of that. So it is nice to have that big brother, on board in terms of the ability to raise funds. So it is encouraging. I think they've got some hard decisions to make. They need some sort of radical restructuring to right the business, but parts of that business are still decent. They are still profitable, and they've really got to figure out a way to cut that debt, rebuild the balance sheet, which is what they're busy doing. And there may be a recovery story here yet. I personally would sit on the sidelines and wait, but clearly others are happy to get involved.
Now, Tongaat shareholders are set to receive nothing for their shares in line with its business rescue plan. That's a bit of bad news.
It is bad news. I think for most it's actually been coming for some time, and only the most optimistic shareholder would have expected to really get some value. If you think about it, the total liabilities is around 11.5 billion. They're selling the business for about 3.5 billion. A debt facility of about 1.7 goes with that. So there's still a significant shortfall of equity value of around 5.5 billion. So there are some court cases, there's some fines being paid by Deloitte, the auditors. If you put all those 200 million and 300 million numbers together, it doesn't even come close to filling the hole that's been created here. So I think as an equity holder, the risk reward profile means you are last in the pecking order. Secured creditors first, secondary creditors next, and then at the very end, the equity holders. Unfortunately, there's unlikely to be anything left for them.
We will follow up on that story. Thank you so much, Grant. That was Grant Nader from Benguela Global Fund Managers.